Hi.
Okay, James Cole, you kick us off.
Steve, 7 tries scored, bonus point secured. You must be pretty happy with the job done.
I was really pleased with the players today, the way they adapted to an early disruption with Ollie Lawrence's injury against a really tricky opponent who were very, very streetwise, attacked the breakdown really hard. So in that context, to deal with that and to get the result, to get the 7 tries was a really great performance by the guys.
And what did you make of the attacking intent today? You've talked about wanting the team to run the ball more.
I think I've talked about the team playing fast. I think I've talked about the team being aggressive with the ball. I think that's the language I've used. And I think for large part, for even you go back to even last year's Six Nations where we started trying to develop this way of doing things. I think the team's developed a long way, and 2 weeks ago it was against the Scotland team that played a very smart game, really tactically super smart. Today was a completely different challenge, and I thought the guys dealt with this challenge really well.
Do you think they played with a bit more freedom today?
I think the team are always trying to play the way we talk about playing through the plan that we have, and we're trying to develop and evolve as a team, build a togetherness as a team. This is you see, I know people often talk about the Italian team being young because they have to bring players through super fast. The age of the teams was identical. They had more caps than us. You're kind of going, this is an England team that's on a journey and evolving, and I think today was another step forward.
What did you make of Marcus Smith today, as you say, thrown on against the plan and after probably what would have been a tough week for him too?
I thought the back line was good. I thought you saw the way they adapted to the injury really well. They had to change positions. I thought they did a load of good things. We're building. I'm not just building a 15. I'm not just building a 23. I'm trying to build a squad, and to do that, there needs to be at the right time some different changes and some different development of players. And I felt today was the right time in where we are as a team to make a couple of changes into this game. And
it takes the title race to the final weekend. How important you keep that pressure on France?
Yeah, well, we'll do. All you can do is go down to Cardiff next weekend and put in a performance and get the result that we want, and that's what we will concentrate our work upon this week. I think the players are doing a magnificent job. I think you can see the way the team's developing, led by Maro, and we'll continue to try and just take another step forward this week.
Just finally on the injuries, how's Ollie Lawrence?
Yeah, it's an Achilles injury that we'll know more in the next 48 hours when he has the scans and sees a specialist. Fingers crossed it's not quite as severe as we fear it might be. He'll get the very, very best care. He'll see the very, very best people to be looked after.
He's obviously out of next weekend though, yeah. And Tom Curry, Ben Earl and Fraser Dingwall.
Yeah, all fine with a couple of cuts. I think Ben Earl, Fraser, I think it was cuts to get off the pitch and get stitched up. Tom, he was all good. I was stretching a bit, decided to make a change at that point in time.
Thank you. Maro, just how much are you looking forward to the trip to Cardiff next week and that challenge that awaits?
Yes, very much so. Wales, Cardiff, the Principality is a tough place to go. I've been fortunate enough to play there numerous times, and I know exactly how difficult it is. And Wales versus England is a humongous fixture. So I know all of Wales will be cramped in the Principality, and it's a challenge that we're very much looking forward to.
Okay, Alfie, if we go 2 from you, then 1 from you, James. All right.
Steve, I appreciate the win is the most important thing. Is there any frustration that between, I think, around the 52nd minute and then it was not until the final play that you then scored again, just given the fact that, points difference could come into it?
There's always areas to work upon, and I've always said that. I think that the team did a really good job today. If you start putting that into context, I think what did Scotland score 31 against Italy? The team's gone and done a good job there today. It was tough, especially with that early injury to one of our main strike carriers, one of the guys who brings power to our backline. And so that caused a major disruption. And I think the players adapted to it really well.
And just a word on Tommy Freeman, his performance today, but also in this championship as a whole. Do you think he's putting himself in Lions contention?
Interested how he plays in the white shirt. And I think he's playing real well, as many players are. I think there's even more to come from Tommy. I think Tommy can be even more powerful in his carry. I think we're only just scratching the surface with him. I think his potential is huge.
Just very quickly, did you consider putting him into the centres? It looked like Marcus had to double check exactly how you were rejigging the back line.
Yeah, we have obviously a couple of options about how we make the changes. Elliot's ability to cover centre, Tommy's ability to go into the centre. So we have adaptations, and at different times in the game we did it different ways.
Okay, James, then one from Will Kelleher.
Steve, some wonderful stats for you today. 900 metres with ball in hand, 300 post-contact metres, which is really exceptional sort of stuff. I wanted to ask you a question just about the backline structure and what Fraser Dingwall brought to that side. It very much looked as if he was almost a second set of eyes, and very much the same for Elliot when he moved to 13. What was the dynamic between those three midfielders, and how important was it?
I think, as you mentioned, Fraser and Elliot, I think they're two of the most intelligent rugby players that I've had the pleasure to work with. I think they see space, they see and they connect a lot, which is they see the space in the front line, they see the space in behind, and they connect with the players around them. Described Fraser in the week as a glue player. He does a lot of unseen work. He makes all the players play really well because of his presence. I thought he did well today.
And just very, very finally, the contestables, it didn't go so well for you in the first half, but you really turned that around in the second half. What was kind of the message about, that aerial battle?
In terms of what specifically?
The contestables, the aerial battle.
The way Italy were kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know Italy and seen the model the way Scotland played. Scotland played a load of contestable kicks, lots of short kicks, to try and turn the game into an arm wrestle. We expected Italy to do the same, and I now catch ratings of contestable kicks now with the laws as they are very, very low, which means a lot of unstructured possession, a lot of loose ball, and you have to adapt and work well to that.
Steve, can you just talk through your options in the midfield next week? The fact that Ollie's out, is Tommy ready to start a test at 13, do you think? Or would you look at Elliot moving there like you did this time?
I'd have no doubt with either of those two players playing in the centre.
And other guys in the squad, Oscar Beard?
Yeah, I think he's trained really well. He's been with the squad, and I think his ball carrying is a real point of difference.
And just the last one on Ollie. You said that you hope it's better than feared. Is the fear that it might be a season ender just because an Achilles like that usually is?
It looks like it's could be a real tough injury, but I'm hesitant to say exactly without any detailed assessment of it in terms of the scans and everything like that. But it looks like it's a tough injury for him.
Okay, we're going to get one here. Martin, then we're done.
Thank you. A question for both of you. Could you just give a few thoughts on Jamie George on a big day for him, what he brings the dressing room and on the pitch?
Yeah, Jamie is a fantastic player. I said during the week that he's an incredible rugby player. He brings leadership. He brings a calmness. He brings a toughness. He's as a hooker forward, he's one of the most intelligent rugby players that I've ever played with. And I think my career has been richer as a result of playing with and working alongside Jamie. And Steve mentioned earlier that some of the other players being a bit like glue players, and Jamie is exactly that. Jamie pulls the group together. He's an ultimate people's person, and all he wants is the best for the team. So, I'm absolutely delighted for Jamie, and he's still got loads more left in the tank. So I'm excited to see how he continues to
go. Both really. What was the thinking, the message at half time? You'd scored 3 tries, but you're only 4 points ahead? Was it about clarity and thinking? Because obviously you've basically blown them away in the first 13 minutes of the second half. Was that more to do with concentrating on specifics, or was there something extra that you were thinking about or looking to do in that second period after the first half?
So I'll say the games against Italy are tough. The way they play, the way they challenge the breakdown. If you look, what was the score against Scotland? Was it 19-all for a period from memory? And then against France, France the second half went away with it, but at 34 minutes, I think it was still like within one score. And you wouldn't have said that if you just got the final scoreline against France. And obviously they went and got a good result in their other games. So, games against Italy end up being tight for periods. Certainly anticipated that. And I thought the players handled that with a real calmness and composure.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.